Everyone avoided him. Every morning he sat near the old bus stop, holding a torn bag and a broken cup. People passed him without looking. Some laughed. Some whispered, "Just another useless old beggar." No one knew his name. No one knew his past. No one cared. But that morning, something strange happened. A small boy walked up to him. He looked scared, confused, and tired. "I can't go to school anymore," the boy whispered. "My parents don't have money." The old man slowly raised his eyes. They were not weak. They were calm, deep, intelligent. He reached into his torn bag and pulled out a bundle of neatly folded money. Not coins, not small change. Real money. The boy froze. So did I, watching from across the road. How could a beggar have that much cash? And why did he look like he had been waiting for this moment all his life? That day I realized this old man was hiding a secret that would change everything. I couldn't stop thinking about what I had seen. A beggar. With neatly folded money? It didn't make sense. Most people ignored him. Some even insulted him. Yet he never reacted. He only smiled softly and looked down. The boy took the money with shaking hands. "Thank you, Grandpa," he whispered. Tears filled his eyes. The old man nodded. "Study well," he said quietly. "Knowledge is your true wealth." Those words didn't sound like a beggar's words. They sounded like a teacher's, like someone who understood life deeply. That night I couldn't sleep. His calm eyes kept appearing in my mind. There was wisdom in them. Pain, too. The next morning I went back to the bus stop. I wanted answers. He was there again. Same place. Same torn clothes. Same broken cup. But now I looked closer. His hands were clean. His posture was straight. His shoes old but polished. No ordinary beggar cared about such things. I sat beside him. "Uncle," I said softly, "why do you beg when you have money?" He looked at me. For a long moment he said nothing. Then he smiled. "Because," he replied slowly, "this is the only way I can help them." Without being noticed, my heart skipped. Help them? Who is them? And why must it be secret? Before I could ask more,
He stood up and walked away.
leaving me with questions and a mystery that was just beginning. The next day, I went back to the bus stop earlier than usual. It was still dark. Shops were closed. Buses were rare. Only cold wind and silence filled the street. But he was already there, sitting on the same bench, holding the same broken cup, looking at the road as if he was waiting for someone. I hid behind a tea stall and watched. At exactly 6:30 a.m., a girl in a torn uniform walked past. She hesitated, then stopped. "Grandpa," she whispered, "I failed my exam. I need money for retest." The old man looked up. No surprise, no shock, only kindness. He slowly opened his bag, took out some notes, counted them carefully, and gave them to her. "Try again," he said softly. "Failure is not the end." The girl cried, touched his feet, and ran away. I felt something strange in my chest. This wasn't begging. This was helping. Every single day, soon more children came. One by one, a boy who needed books, a girl who needed shoes, another who needed bus fare, and every time, he helped them. Without asking their names, without expecting thanks. By 9 a.m., his bag was almost empty. Then, he changed. He wore old torn slippers, made his clothes dirtier, put dust on his hands, and only then, he became a beggar. People started passing. Some threw coins. Some ignored him. Some insulted him. He accepted everything silently. At noon, a rich man stopped in front of him. "Why don't you work?" he laughed. "Strong body, weak mind." The old man smiled. "Maybe," he replied, but I knew that was a lie. This man was stronger than all of us. That evening, I followed him quietly. After sunset, when the street became empty, he stood up and walked away. Not towards slums, not towards shelters. He walked into a quiet old building. I froze. It was a library, an abandoned one. Broken windows, dust everywhere. But inside, a small light was on. He entered. I waited, then slowly followed. What I saw inside changed my life forever. I slowly pushed the broken door. It made a small sound. Creak! My heart started beating fast. Inside, the room was dark. Only one small bulb was glowing. And under that light, I saw something unbelievable. 10 children, sitting on the floor, with old notebooks, broken pens, torn school bags, and in front of them, he was standing. Not like a beggar, not weak, not tired, straight back, clear voice, focused eyes, like a real teacher. Now read again, he said gently. Slowly, don't be afraid. A small boy stood up, hands shaking, voice trembling, but the old man smiled. You can do it, he said. I believe in you. The boy started reading. At first he made mistakes. Then slowly, he improved. Everyone clapped. The old man clapped the loudest. My eyes became wet. This place was a hidden school. No board, no benches, no fees, only hope. After class ended, he gave them biscuits, some milk, some fruits, from his own pocket. Study well, he told them. Tomorrow be better than today. One girl asked, Grandpa, why do you help us? He stayed silent, then said softly, Because once someone saved me like this. The children didn't understand, but I did. This man had a past, a painful one. When the kids left, I stepped forward. Uncle? My voice shook. He turned around. For the first time, he looked surprised. You followed me, he said. Yes, I replied. I'm sorry, but I had to know. He sighed. Sat on a broken chair. Sit, he said. I sat beside him. I was a teacher once, he began. A very good one. My heart stopped. A school owner cheated me. Took my savings. Closed the school. I lost everything. Family left me. Friends disappeared. I slept on streets. Cried alone. But one day, a poor student gave me food. He said, Sir, you taught me to live. Tears filled his eyes. That day I decided I will never stop teaching, even if I become a beggar. I couldn't speak. This was not a poor man. This was a hero. Suddenly, he looked at me seriously. Promise me something, he said. What? I asked. Never tell anyone. Not yet. Some people don't want this place to exist. My blood turned cold. Who? I whispered. Before he could answer, we heard footsteps outside. Heavy. Fast. Angry. Someone was coming, and they didn't sound friendly. The footsteps grew louder. 1, 2, 3. Someone kicked the door. Bang! The weak wooden door shook. Dust fell from the ceiling. The children were gone. Only me and the old man were inside. He stood up slowly. Stay behind me, he whispered. 3 men entered. Big bodies. Hard faces. Cold eyes. They wore expensive clothes, but their hearts were dirty. One of them laughed. So the great teacher is here again, he said. The old man didn't reply. He just looked at them calmly. Another man stepped forward. Didn't we warn you? Close this place. Stop teaching these street kids. Why? I shouted. They're only studying. The men stared at me. Mind your business, boy, one growled. The old man finally spoke. These children have the right to learn, he said firmly. The tallest man smiled. Rights? In this area, we decide rights. He threw a file on the floor. Papers scattered everywhere. Fake documents. Fake notices. Fake complaints. You are illegal here, he said. We can put you in jail. My hands trembled. This was planned. The old man picked up the papers, looked at them, then laughed softly. You're still afraid of books, he said. That made them angry. One man grabbed his collar. You beg on roads. You eat from dust.
And you talk big?
I moved forward. Leave him! But the old man stopped me. With one hand. Don't, he whispered. He looked at the men. I will never stop, he said. Even if you destroy me. Silence. Then, the leader leaned close to his face. Then remember this, he said. Tomorrow this place will burn. They turned and left. Bang! Door slammed shut. My legs felt weak. They will destroy everything, I said. The old man sat down slowly. Yes, he replied. But not before we save something more important. What? I asked. He looked at the wall. On it were photos. Children smiling, holding certificates, standing in school uniforms. Hope, he said softly. Outside, dark clouds gathered. A storm was coming. And this time, it wasn't only about rain. After they left, the room became silent, too silent. Only the sound of my heartbeat filled the empty space. They will burn this place, I whispered. Why are they against you? The old man stood up slowly. He walked to the window, looked outside at the dark sky. Because, he said softly, educated children are dangerous to them. I looked at him, confused. They control this area, he continued. Illegal businesses, fake contracts, child labor. If children study, they will ask questions. If they ask questions, their power will fall. Now I understood. This wasn't about a classroom. It was about control. He turned toward me. Do you want to leave? He asked. No one will blame you. I shook my head. No, I said firmly. I'm staying. He smiled. That night, we didn't sleep. We worked. First, he opened an old metal box. Inside were documents, certificates, photos, awards, proof of his past. I kept these hidden, he said, in case someday truth is needed. Then he showed me a small notebook. Names, dates, schools, scholarships. Hundreds of children. All of them studied here, he said. All of them are now living better lives. My eyes widened. You changed so many lives. He nodded. But nobody knows. We packed books into bags. We hid important papers. We moved benches quietly. Every sound felt dangerous. Outside, dogs barked. Wind howled. Street lights flickered. It felt like a warning. At midnight, he stopped working, sat down, and suddenly, he looked tired. Very tired. Uncle, I said, why didn't you ever leave this place? He closed his eyes. My son studied here, he whispered. I froze. He was brilliant, he continued. Dreamed of becoming a doctor. But those men, his voice broke. They forced him into labor. He got sick. No treatment. No help. He died. Tears rolled down his cheeks. I failed him, he said. So now, I save others. I held his hand. You didn't fail, I said. You became a father to hundreds. He looked at me, eyes shining. Before dawn, everything was ready. The room looked empty. No books. No papers. No proof. Only walls. If they come, he said, they'll find nothing. Suddenly, a phone rang. From his pocket. He looked surprised. He answered. Then his face changed. Tonight, he whispered. They are coming tonight. My heart dropped. It was too soon, and we were not ready for what was about to happen. My hand started shaking. Tonight? I whispered. But it's not even morning yet. The old man slowly stood up. Yes, he said calmly. They want to scare us. Break us. Outside, the wind became stronger. Clouds covered the moon. Darkness spread everywhere. We turned off the light. Sat quietly in the corner. Every minute felt like an hour. Suddenly, a sound. Footsteps. Whispers. Metal clashing. They were back. 3. No. 5 men this time. Through a crack in the wall, I saw them. One was holding a bottle. Another had a lighter. Petrol. My blood froze. They will burn it, I whispered. The old man nodded. But not our dream, he replied. He slowly took out his phone. What are you doing? I asked. Calling help, he said. From people who once studied here. He sent one message. Just one. Sir needs you. Then he put the phone down. The door was kicked open. Bang! Flames were ready. The leader laughed. Last warning, old man, he said. Leave this area forever. The old man stepped forward. No, he said. I belong here. The man lit the lighter. Click. Fire appeared. I closed my eyes. But suddenly, a loud voice shouted, "Stop!" Lights flashed. Dozens of bikes surrounded the building. Young men and women jumped down. Some wore office clothes. Some hospital uniforms. Some police badges. Former students. All grown up. All successful. They stood in front of us. "He is our teacher," one said. "You touch him. You touch all of us." The attackers panicked. They didn't expect this. Police sirens followed. "We owe! We owe!" The men ran, dropped everything, disappeared into darkness. The fire was stopped. Silence returned. The old man's eyes filled with tears. "They came," he whispered. "Yes," I smiled, "because you never gave up on them." One doctor hugged him. One engineer touched his feet. One officer saluted. That night, a beggar became a hero. But I knew this was only the beginning, because his story was about to change forever. Morning sunlight entered the broken windows. For the first time, that room didn't feel abandoned. It felt alive. People were everywhere. Former students, local reporters, social workers, neighbors. Someone had recorded everything. The fire attempt, the threats, the rescue, and uploaded it online. Overnight, the video went viral. Beggar teacher saves children. Hidden hero of the streets. Real education warrior. His face was everywhere. On phones, on TVs, on newspapers. He sat quietly in a corner, confused. "I never wanted fame," he whispered. "I know," I replied. "But truth wants light." A reporter came closer. "Sir," she asked, "why did you hide like this?" He looked at the children. "Because real help is silent," he said. The crowd became emotional. Donations started coming. Books, clothes, money, support. A big NGO offered help. "We'll build a proper school." They promised. Government officials arrived. They apologized publicly. The illegal gang was arrested. Justice had started. But something worried me. The old man looked weak. Very weak. He coughed often. His hands trembled. His face was pale. "Uncle, are you okay?" I asked. He smiled. "I'm fine," he lied. That night, he collapsed. Right in front of me. I screamed for help. Ambulance came. Doctors rushed him inside. As doors closed, he grabbed my hand. "Promise me," he whispered. "The school must live." Tears rolled down my face. "I promise," I said. The machine started beeping, and the doctor looked at me with serious eyes. "This is critical," he said. My heart sank. After everything, were we about to lose him? The hospital corridor was silent. Too silent. Only the sound of machines and distant footsteps filled the air. I sat on a cold metal bench, hands shaking, heart praying. Outside the operation room, a red light was on. Emergency surgery. Every second felt heavy. Former students arrived one by one. Doctors, engineers, teachers, businessmen, all with the same fear. "Is Sir okay? Will he survive?" I had no answer. I only shook my head. A nurse came out. "Family member?" she asked. I stood up. "I'm with him," I said. She looked at her file.
He has been sick for years, she said.
Heart problem, weak lungs, malnutrition. My chest tightened. "So much pain," I whispered. "He never treated himself," she continued. "Always others first." Tears rolled down my face. We waited. 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours. No news. Rain started outside. Heavy, cold, relentless. Like nature itself was crying. Suddenly, a doctor rushed out. "We need rare blood," he shouted. "Immediately!" Without thinking, dozens raised their hands. "Take mine. Mine too. I'm O negative." A line was formed. No hesitation. No fear. All for one man. Inside the operation room, doctors fought. Scalpels moved fast. Machines beeped loudly. Sweat-covered faces. "Pressure dropping." "Give oxygen." "Don't lose him." Meanwhile, I remembered his words. Real help is silent. Now, the world was shouting for him. After 6 hours, the red light turned off. Everyone held their breath. The doctor walked out slowly. His face was tired, but he was smiling. "He is alive," he said. The corridor exploded with cries. People hugged, prayed, cried, laughed. Relief washed over me. But the doctor raised his hand. "He survived," he continued. "But his time is limited." Silence. "Maximum 6 months," he said softly. My heart broke. 6 months. Only 6 months. For a man who gave his whole life to others. I entered his room quietly. He was unconscious. Breathing slowly, I held his hand. "Uncle," I whispered. "Don't leave yet." His fingers moved. Slightly. As if he heard me. And I knew. These next months would be the most important of his entire life. The doctor's words kept echoing in my mind. 6 months. Only 6 months. I sat beside his bed every day, watched the machines, counted his breaths. Sometimes he opened his eyes. Sometimes he smiled. Weak, but real. One morning, he finally spoke. "Why are you crying?" he whispered. I laughed through tears. "I'm not crying," I lied. He knew. "Don't waste time," he said softly. "We still have work." "Work?" I asked. "The school," he replied. "Even now." He thought of others. After 2 weeks, he was discharged. Doctors warned us. No stress, no heavy work, full rest. He nodded politely and ignored everything. The next day, he visited the new school site. An empty land, full of dreams. NGO workers were waiting. Builders. Volunteers. When he arrived, everyone stood up. "Sir," he smiled shyly. "Sit, sit," he said. Plans were spread. Classrooms. Library. Playground. He looked at every detail. "This window should be bigger," he said. "Children need sunlight. This wall must be strong. Knowledge needs protection." I watched silently. This man was dying, yet building a future. At night, he became weak, coughing, fever, pain. I begged him, "Please rest." He held my hand. "If I rest now," he said, "many children will sleep in darkness." 3 months passed. The building rose slowly. Walls, roof, doors. Hope took shape. But his health fell. He lost weight, lost strength, lost color. One evening, he called me close. "There is something I must tell you," he whispered. His voice was serious, and I knew a secret was coming. Something that would change everything again. That night, the room was quiet. Only the ticking clock and his slow breathing filled the silence. He asked me to close the door, then pointed to a small bag under his bed. "Bring that," he whispered. I pulled it out. Old, faded.
Torn at the corners.
Inside were letters. Many letters, tied with a red thread. "Read the top one," he said. My hands trembled as I opened it. It was written neatly, in careful handwriting. "My dear son, if you are reading this, it means I was too weak to say these words aloud. I am sorry. I am sorry I couldn't protect you. I am sorry I couldn't give you the life you deserved. Every night, I ask God to forgive me. Every child I teach is my way of asking for your forgiveness." My vision blurred. I couldn't continue. "Read," he said softly. So I did. I became a beggar. Not because I was poor, but because I was ashamed. Ashamed that I failed you. I punished myself by living on the streets. But helping children gave me reason to breathe again. I folded the letter. "Why didn't you send this?" I asked. He smiled sadly. "He was already gone," he replied. "There was no address in heaven." Tears fell freely now. Then he pointed to another letter. "That one is for you." I froze. "For me?" "Yes," he nodded. I opened it slowly. "My child, you found me when I had almost given up. You listened. You stayed. You believed. You became the son I lost. Promise me You will continue this work.
when I am gone.
My hands shook. I promise, I whispered. He closed his eyes, relieved. There is one more thing, he said. What? I asked. There is money, he replied, hidden from my teaching days. Enough to run the school. For years. I stared at him. Where? He smiled. In the library, behind the last shelf. My heart raced. This man, even in death, was thinking of children. Suddenly, he grabbed my wrist. His grip was weak, but urgent. Be careful, he whispered. Not everyone wants this school. Some enemies are still free. Before I could ask more, he started coughing violently. Blood appeared on the tissue. I screamed for help. Nurses rushed in. Doctors followed. They pushed me out. As the door closed, I heard the machine beep faster and faster, and I feared this might be our last conversation. The hospital door closed, right in front of me. I stood there, frozen. Doctors were running. Nurses were shouting. Machines were screaming. And I was helpless. Minutes felt like years. I kept remembering his words. In the library, behind the last shelf. Money. For the school. For the children. For the future. After 2 hours, a doctor finally came out. He is stable, she said, but very weak. Relief washed over me. That night, I couldn't sleep. His secret kept burning in my mind. At sunrise, I went to the old library. Alone, dust floated in the air. Cobwebs hung from the ceiling. It felt like walking into the past. I moved slowly, step by step. At the last shelf, I stopped. My heart pounded. I pushed it gently. It didn't move. Then I noticed a small mark, a scratch in the wall, like someone had pushed it. Many times, I pressed harder. Click! A soft sound. The shelf moved. Behind it was a hidden door. I held my breath, opened it. Inside was a small room with a metal box. Rusty. Heavy. Old. My hands shook as I opened it. Inside were bundles of money, gold coins, bank documents, property papers. My eyes widened. This was not small savings. This was a fortune. Enough to build many schools. Enough to change thousands of lives. Then I saw a note, written in his handwriting. For my children. Not by blood, by heart. Tears rolled down my face. Suddenly, I heard footsteps. Behind me. Slow. Careful. Someone was watching. I turned around and froze. One of the attackers from that night was standing there, smiling. Thank you, he said coldly, for finding this for us. My blood ran cold. I was not alone anymore, and I was in danger. My body froze. The man's smile was worse than anger. Cold, empty, dangerous. Behind him, 2 more men appeared. Same faces, same cruel eyes. You are brave, he said, coming here alone. I slowly stepped back. This money is for children, I said. You can't touch it. He laughed. Money has no owner, he replied. Only power decides. One man blocked the door. Another closed the window. I was trapped. My phone, no signal. No help. The leader walked closer. Your teacher trusted you, he said. And you led us here. I didn't, I shouted. He grabbed my collar. Silence. His grip tightened. Give us the documents, he ordered. I shook my head. No. His eyes darkened. He raised his hand. Slap! My face burned. I fell to the floor. Blood tasted in my mouth. Last chance, he warned. Still, I refused, because his face appeared. In my mind, his smile. His hope. I stood up, shaking. Kill me, I said, but I won't betray him. For a moment, they looked surprised, then angry. They dragged me toward the hidden room, opened the metal box, started filling bags, greedy, careless. That's when I noticed a small red light on the wall, blinking. Camera. Security camera. My heart jumped. He had planned everything. Even this. I started shouting. "Police, help!" The men panicked. "Shut him up!" one screamed. They ran. Dropped papers. Left bags. Footsteps faded. Minutes later, sirens filled the air. Police arrived. The attackers were caught. Near the exit. Handcuffed. Crying. Justice was working. I sat on the floor. Weak. Broken. But smiling. Because he had protected his dream, even from his hospital bed. Yet, I felt something was wrong. A bad feeling. Like time was running out. The police car stopped in front of the hospital. Before it fully stopped, I jumped out. My body was hurting. My face was swollen. My clothes were torn. But I didn't care. I only cared about one thing. Him. I ran. Past nurses. Past patients. Past security. Straight to his room. When I reached the door, I stopped. Something felt wrong. Too quiet. No talking. No movement. No sound. Only machines. Beeping slowly. Beep, beep, beep. I pushed the door open. He was lying there. So weak. So pale. So small. The man who fought gangs, poverty, and life. Now looked fragile. "Uncle," I whispered. My voice broke. No answer. I walked closer. Held his hand. Cold. "Please, open your eyes." Suddenly, his fingers moved. Just a little. My heart jumped. "Uncle," I cried. Slowly. Very slowly. He opened his eyes. A weak smile appeared. "You came back," he whispered. "I told you." I wouldn't leave. Tears rolled down my face. "They're arrested," I said. "The money is safe. The school is safe." He closed his eyes. Relief appeared on his face. "Good. Very good." A nurse tried to enter. He raised his hand. "No. Give us time." She nodded and left. The door closed. Now, it was only us. He held my hand tightly, as if afraid I might disappear. "Listen to me," he said. His voice was weak, but serious. "The school—"
Promise me.
"It will open." "I promise," I cried. "I swear." "Don't name it after me," he continued. "Name it after the children. They are the heroes." "You are the hero," I said. He smiled. "No, I only showed the way." He slowly reached under his pillow, took out a small key. "Locker 17. Bank. One last thing." "What is it?" I asked. His breathing became heavy. "My real name. I never told anyone. I was once—" Suddenly, the machine started beeping fast. "Beep! Beep! Beep!" Nurses rushed in. Doctors followed. "Out!" they shouted. They pushed me outside. I resisted. "Please, let me stay." But they didn't listen. The door closed. Through the glass, I saw them fighting, running, giving injections, using machines, trying everything. I sat on the floor, hands shaking, heart praying. "God, please don't take him." Minutes passed. Then the sound changed. Beep. Flat. Silent. No heartbeat. No life. A long straight line. The doctor came out, removed his mask, looked at me, slowly shook his head. "I'm sorry." My legs gave up. I fell. My world collapsed. The man who saved hundreds of children couldn't save himself. I entered the room again. He was peaceful. No pain. No fear. Only silence. I touched his forehead. "Rest now, Uncle. I will take care of everything." Outside, children were waiting. Teachers were waiting. A future was waiting. And now, that future was in my hands. The hospital room felt empty. Too empty. Even though his body was still there, his presence was gone. No soft smile. No gentle voice. No calm eyes. Only silence. I stood beside him for a long time. Didn't move. Didn't speak. Just looked trying to believe he was really gone. A nurse touched my shoulder. "You should rest," she said softly. I shook my head. "There is no rest," I replied. "Not now, not ever." News spread fast. By evening, the hospital corridor was full. Students, teachers, doctors, workers, neighbors, all crying, all broken. A man who owned nothing had owned everyone's heart. The next day, his funeral was held. No big banners, no expensive flowers, only people. Hundreds of people. Children held candles. Some held books. Some held his photos. One little girl whispered, "He taught me to read." A boy said, "He bought me my first notebook." Another cried, "He believed in me." Each word was a story. Each tear was proof of his life. I stood in front of his grave, holding the small key. Locker 17, his last gift, his last trust. "I won't fail you," I whispered. That evening, I went to the bank. Locker 17. The manager looked surprised. "No one has opened this in 20 years, he said. He unlocked it. Inside was a file and a letter, written in his handwriting. For my son, by heart. I opened it. "My child, if you are reading this, I am already gone. Don't cry. I lived a full life. Because of children like you. Use this money only for education. Build schools. Train teachers. Protect dreams. This is my real wealth." Inside the file were legal documents, land papers, trust fund details, school permissions, everything he had planned, even after death. I walked out of the bank with shaking hands, not from fear, from responsibility. From that day, I stopped being just a student. I became a guardian of dreams. But deep inside, I knew one final truth was still hidden about his past, about his real name, and about why he chose this life. That secret was about to come out. After leaving the bank, my mind was spinning. The key, the locker, the money, the letters. Everything was clear. Yet nothing was clear. Who was he really? Why did he hide his name? Why did he live like a beggar when he had the means to live rich? That night, I returned to his house. The old walls, the empty rooms, the smell of books and dust. I opened the old wooden cupboard. Inside, another box, smaller, heavier, with a note for my most trusted student. I hesitated, hands trembling. I opened it slowly. Inside were photographs, black and white, faded edges, people I didn't recognize. A young man, smiling in a suit. A young woman, holding a child. And then, my eyes widened. It was him, a different man. Not the old beggar I knew. Sharp eyes, confident posture, a proud smile. And beneath the photographs, letters. Letters in a different language, carefully folded, sealed with wax. I opened the first one. "My dearest friend, if you are reading this, then the time has come. I cannot stay longer. Enemies are everywhere. I must hide. I will disappear, so that the truth can live. Protect the children. Teach them what I could not. One day, someone will know my real story. Until then, call me by the name I gave you. The old teacher." I shivered. The old teacher. It was an identity he created, not his real name. I read every letter. They told stories of danger, of enemies, of betrayal. He had been a wealthy man once, a brilliant mind, a visionary, but power-hungry people destroyed everything he loved. His family, his career, his friends. He lost almost everything. And so, he chose the streets. Not because he was poor, not because he had failed, but because it was safe. Safe to rebuild, safe to teach, safe to help others. Without being caught, I sat back, mind blown. Every struggle, every hardship, every sacrifice made sense now. He had created a new life, a secret life, one that no one could destroy. And the key, the locker, the school, were all part of his plan, a plan spanning decades. I realized then, he was not just a teacher. He was a protector, a strategist, a silent hero. But one question remained. Why did he disappear from the world? Why hide so completely? The letters hinted at danger. Powerful enemies. People who still sought revenge. Even now, they could be watching. I looked out the window. The streets were empty. The night was silent. But I felt eyes, watching me. Someone knew. Someone wanted the key. The money. The truth. And I knew. My life had just become as dangerous as his. Because the moment I accepted his legacy, I became the target too. Every decision I make, from now on, could cost me everything. And yet, I couldn't run. I wouldn't run. Not after everything he gave. Not after seeing what he had endured. I swore silently. I would finish what he started, no matter the cost. The children, the school, the dream. I would protect it all. Even if it meant facing the people he had once fought. Even if it meant walking into danger alone. The next morning, the sun rose quietly. But peace did not. I felt it immediately. A heaviness in the air. Shadows moving differently. Even though the streets were empty, I could sense we were being watched. I went to the old school site. The foundation was being laid. Builders were busy. Children were safe at home. Yet, I couldn't shake the feeling. Then a message on my phone. Unknown number. Stop what you're doing, or you'll regret it. I read it again. Heart pounding. It matched what the letters had warned. Enemies still alive. Enemies still waiting. Enemies still strong. I looked around. Every passerby felt suspicious. I realized we were no longer safe. The next few days, strange things happened. Footsteps at night. Windows rattling. Cars slowly circling the street. One night, I saw a black SUV parked outside. 2 men inside. Watching, I approached cautiously. They drove off, but the message was clear. We were being followed. I knew I couldn't fight them alone, not even with the police. Then I remembered the letters, the hidden connections, the students, the old allies. I made calls, silent calls, messages sent through secure lines. Slowly, help started arriving. Former students, friends of the old teacher, people who owed their lives to him. We planned. We set traps. We created safe routes, backup for every scenario. Days turned into nights, and nights were filled with tension. Every knock at the door, every shadow on the wall, made me jump. I could feel the danger closing in. And then, one evening, a group came. 5 men, well armed, faces covered. They tried to break into the school site. Move the materials! Take the money. But we were ready. Lights flashed. Cameras caught them. Alarms screamed. I stood at the gate, heart racing, watching them panic. The police arrived within minutes. Chaos, shouting, screams. The men ran. Some caught. Some escaped. But one thing was certain. They knew, and they were coming back. I turned to the old plans, the letters, the key, the locker. Every step had to be precise, because one mistake now could destroy everything. And I realized this was no longer just about a school, or children, or money. It was about survival. Mine. The legacy. The life he had built in secret. And I understood. The story of the old teacher was far from over. That night, the wind howled like a warning. Leaves rustled violently outside. Shadows danced across the walls. I stayed awake, in the small guard room, near the school site. Every sound made me flinch. A distant car. A sudden whistle. Footsteps that weren't mine. I checked the cameras. All clears at first. Then I noticed movement. Near the back gate. 3 figures. Moving slowly, trying not to be seen. I grabbed my phone. Called the students group. Silent alarm. Immediate lockdown. Lights switched on suddenly. Floodlights blazed across the yard. The men froze. Faces revealed. One was the leader, from the hospital incident. The other 2, I recognized from the city gangs. They made a run for the gate. I intercepted one. Struggle. Shouting. Fist hit fist. The others tried to escape. But cameras caught them. Every move. Within minutes, police sirens echoed. The men panicked. Tripped over obstacles. Got caught in nets we had prepared. The leader's eyes met mine. Hate. Vengeance. Promises of return. He spat on the ground. "This isn't over," he hissed. Not even close. I realized he was right. This was only the beginning. The school was safe, for now. But the danger was far from gone. I went inside. Checked every corner. Every lock. Every window. Nothing left to chance. The old teacher's vision. His legacy. Everything he built. Was now my responsibility. And I could feel it deep in my bones. Enemies were patient. And they would return. The school site was quiet. But tension hung in the air. Every shadow seemed alive. Every sound suspicious. I patrolled the area. With the letters and the key. Clutched tightly in my hand. The attackers were still out there. They were patient. Waiting for the perfect moment. That evening, as darkness fell, I noticed a black SUV parked nearby. 3 figures stepped out, moving silently. I froze. It was the leader from the hospital. The same man from the library. With 2 accomplices. They had come for the money, for the documents, for the school itself. I knew I had to act fast. I activated the silent alarm and the floodlights. Security cameras captured everything. The attackers panicked. One tried to rush toward the main office. I intercepted him, pushed him back, struggling hand to hand. The other 2 tried to escape, but our traps caught them. Within minutes, sirens blared. Police arrived. Chaos erupted. Shouting, running, struggling. The attackers realized they were cornered. They tried to fight, but they were no match. The leader glared at me. "You'll regret this," he hissed. But the police held him down. He was powerless now. I rushed inside, securing the documents. The money, the key, the letters, all intact. Nothing was lost. Finally, silence returned. The school site was safe. The children's future was protected. The old teacher's legacy remained untouched. I sat down exhausted, trembling, but relieved. I held his letters again, reading his words in my mind. Every child is a light. Protect them. The rest will follow. I looked at the half-built classrooms, the empty playground, imagined laughter, children running, learning, growing. I realized then that he had trusted me completely. Even in death, he had believed I could carry his vision forward. Tears fell down my cheeks. I whispered a silent promise. No one will harm this school. No one will steal this dream. No one will forget him, his life, his sacrifices, his teachings, and his hidden fortune had all led to this moment. I stepped outside, looking up at the stars. They shone like approval, like encouragement. From that night onward, the old teacher lived on, in every child, in every lesson, in every brick of the school. This was not the end. It was a beginning of hope, of knowledge, of dreams realized, and I knew deep inside that I would honor his life by protecting and nurturing everything he had built with his heart, with his sacrifice, and with his vision. The morning sun bathed the school in golden light. Construction had finished. Walls stood tall. Windows reflected the first rays. I walked through the empty classrooms, touching the desks, the chairs, the blackboards. Everything felt alive, even though no child had stepped in yet. I held the old teacher's letters in my hand. Every word, every instruction, every secret he had left. All guided me here. Parents, teachers, and children gathered outside. Excitement buzzed in the air. The school, once just a dream, was now a reality. I looked at the small key, locker 17. Everything he had hidden, everything he had planned, had finally led to this moment. The head teacher called the children inside. Books, pencils, and supplies were ready. The playground was empty now, but soon it would echo with laughter. I stepped forward, addressed the children. This school was built by someone who loved learning, who believed in dreams, and who gave everything so you could have a future. I paused. Tears formed in my eyes. Even though he is no longer with us, his lessons, his hope, his dream will live in each one of you. The children listened silently, eyes wide, faces bright. I knew the old teacher would have smiled at this sight. I went to the playground, touched the swing, the slide. Imagine tiny hands gripping the rails, feet running, laughter filling the air. It was everything he had fought for, everything he had sacrificed for. I promised myself that I would guard this school, protect the children, and honor his life. As the first students entered, I felt a presence behind me, not seen but felt. A warmth, a silent nod. He was watching, pleased. And in that moment, I understood the true meaning of his life. It was never about money, or fame, or recognition. It was about hope. It was about knowledge. It was about passing on the light to the next generation. I smiled through my tears. The legacy of the old teacher was alive, and it always would be. From that day onward, every brick, every lesson, every child in this school carried a part of him. And I knew that as long as we remembered, as long as we taught, his story would never end.